This can tell what's going on. All right, guys, welcome back to an official live stream. Today, very important subject for all Star Wars fans, and that's ranking all the movies. I'm going to be halfway honest with you guys and say that I'm pretty much just bored, and that's really my reasoning to doing this. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. Well, it's not supposed to. Oh, there it is. Let's see how we should do this. No, I'm not feeling that one. We're gonna go here. That one feels about right. Cool. All right. So as you can see in the rankings, Grandmaster will stand for S tier. Youngling will be for worst tier, which I think is F. S, A, B, C, D. It's E. Youngling is E tier. There is no F tier this time. Movies aren't chronological, but the TV shows are in whatever random order they put them in. And so we're kind of just going to dive right into it. Starting off with episode 1. Solid movie. Great way to set up the story of the prequels. Tough duel scene. Tough Darth Maul versus Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon until the sad death. I will say, though, when I go back and watch it, it's pretty hard to watch. Pretty slow. You don't really feel anything. But it is a good movie. I'm gonna go ahead and put it at. I'm gonna go 9. That might not be what you guys thought it was gonna be, but wait, no, I'm gonna go master. Episode 2. I'm gonna go ahead and put that at 9. That movie it's a good movie. Nobody disagrees with me there, but I don't know, it just doesn't feel right, especially Anakin and Padme, their like love story on Naboo. It just doesn't feel right. Kind of weird. Something that keeps it together is like the clones and like Jango Fett, but he also dies at the end. I don't really have too much to say on this other than like, I don't know. I just it's not my favorite. It's not my least favorite, but it's a solid movie in like general. Disagrees with me there, but yeah, I just feel weird about it. Hold on, I'm trying to set up so I know what's going on. All right, sorry. Next, Revenge of the Sith. Well, I think that we all know that that's got to go. Got to go Grandmaster. We talk about the best opening to any movie with the Starfighter fights, General Grievous, Count Dooku, all that, and then end with Anakin turning into Darth Vader and the battle on Mustafar. Wow, could not have done it any better. The choreography in all of the lightsaber duel is actually insane. Something that I hope that I can recreate one day. Something that I don't know. Revenge of the Sith is really good for all things considered, especially when George had already made all the original movies and then went back to make prequels. The first 2 are kind of iffy but it's like to top it all off with Revenge of the Sith makes the entire prequel trilogy completely worth it, if I'm being honest. It's just amazing. And especially from somebody who's not like super into like the behind the scenes, but's more into Star Wars and how Star Wars was made. I can't say enough about how amazing Revenge of the Sith was. Controversial one here, Rogue One. I I saw Rogue One in movie theater and I loved it. We're gonna go council member. It's not S tier. It's not Revenge of the Sith, but for being a Disney runoff, especially like I think their second movie, I think Force Awakens came out first. But being like it was a good movie, and it's like they didn't have too much to do with the Force. Obviously, the blind guy and then the kyber crystals were pretty Force and Jedi oriented, but it's not like it wasn't overly into like the Skywalker Saga, which I guess is what you would call it. Really good plot. Love the characters. I guess to the point where Andor got his own series, which is I don't know. That's kind of weird in itself, but it's who can complain? We're not in charge. Oh, A New Hope. I'm gonna go also council member on that one. The reason being council member. I'm trying to think about how to say it, but when you go back and you watch all the documentaries on how George Lucas got started, even if A New Hope sucked, if it was terrible, I would still have to give it council member just because of how much work that George Lucas went in just to get his movie on scene. All the doubts and all the rejection that he had to go through. But he eventually made it to Fox and got it through. And then the movie did great. Like, I'm not going to say that it was a bad movie. I'm just saying I'm kind of slow to the start there. But yeah, in the end, a really good movie. But just the way that, got the wheels turning was really amazing to eventually make all the other movies, which solidified Star Wars as the best movie series of all time, best saga of all time until Disney. Empire Strikes Back, that will be not master. It'll go grandmaster. I think that George Lucas had talked about this, but even before he had said it, when this movie ends and the good guys lost, it's kind of like, well, what happens? Like, I don't know. In every movie that you ever watch, other than Infinity War and like Empire Strikes Back, the good guys always somehow pull out in the end, and they always win. But this one, Han Solo's and he's frozen in carbonite. Luke just lost his hand, found out that Darth Vader's his dad. Everything's kind of just falling apart. The rebellion's not doing so good. Hoth earlier, and so it's like, where do we begin? Where do we start? How do we finish this fight? Just to figure out that they're building another Death Star, and yeah, I mean, just like the idea of how he sequenced this movie in general was pretty impressive, and yeah, just this Empire Strikes Back was my favorite movie as a kid. Just like the whole like Hoth scene was really like where it was at, but then like Yoda on Dagobah was so funny, and it was so fun like just to like watch him do his thing and like just be a creepy old hermit in a swamp, And so yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on that. I mean, none of these are going to be like super specific because I'm not in it like that. Return of the Jedi. We're also going to go. We're going to go council member. The thing with it not being Grandmaster is this movie never ends. Right after they finish beating Jabba the Hutt on his barge, you would think that it's over. It's like, what else could they possibly like? An entire plot has already happened by the time that they finish beating Jabba. And that might just be a personal opinion, but every time I watch Return of the Jedi, I always get like, I guess like tired. I don't know. It's like, it's a weird feeling where it's like, I'm ready for it to be over. And then like the whole Andor scene where they're on the planet and they're in camouflage, and it's really weird with all up until the Ewoks start fighting back. I don't know. I'm kind of not. I don't feel it. It's not really just like my favorite. And then Darth Vader redeeming himself with Darth Sidious and Luke. That made the movie Grandmaster. And then Disney went and ruined that and brought Darth Sidious back. So it's really like, what did he do? But I think like the symbolism of Luke being able to take off Darth Vader's whole helmet, where Obi-Wan did the left and then Ahsoka did the right, but Luke could get Anakin all the way back, was kind of cool. Whether that was intentional or not, it was at some point intentional, and that's all that matters, really. Moving on to Force Awakens. So also another controversial one. I saw Force Awakens in movie theater. I'm going to put that at Master. I don't know how to say this without like getting a whole bunch of people mad at me, but we're in the Star Wars floater gang, so it doesn't matter. But I think for Disney to buy Star Wars and need a direction to go, I think staying in the Skywalker like family is a smart thing to do. I think like directing it good would have done good for the brand. And Force Awaken, I think alone set everything really up as like Finn being a Jedi and Kylo Ren being like super cool. And then the reason Force Awakens isn't as good as it could be is because the whole director changed every movie. There not being a script, them not knowing who Rey was till the very last movie, killing off Han Solo, then Finn not turning any like Finn being a nobody for like literally this is his movie and then that's it. Like he's a nobody for the rest of it. It's a kind of a turn off. I love Force Awakens just because it was the first Star Wars movie I ever saw in the movie theater, and so really special in my heart. But yeah, it just got butchered after that, and I think if they could change it, they would. I think they should, but I mean, at the end of the day, what's done's done, and you can't really do anything about it. I love Force Awakens. Kylo Ren had so much potential to be like a sick bad guy, even maybe more than Darth Vader. But Disney just fumbled the ball, honestly, and we are where we are today. Next movie, I'm immediate youngling. Hold on. Yeah, they're very last. I hate this movie. Like I don't even want to talk about it. This movie is so bad for some like just literally everything outside of Star Wars. I mean, Star Wars like there's sound and space and hyperspace and all that, but like from Star Wars point of view, the movie's terrible. From like a physics point of view, the movie's terrible. From just like reality, the movie's like there's nothing good about this movie. Nothing. Not a single like Luke being negative. Yeah, I don't even want to talk about it. I like Rise of Skywalker. I'm gonna put it at night. It's nowhere near Youngling. I can't like describe why I like this movie so much. If Rey didn't say that she was a Skywalker at the end of it, it would have been I could even give it a little more respect. But going back and finding like the Death Star, I really like that scene and like the ocean. I mean, I like the idea of Knights of Ren and all that. I think the main reason this movie gets so much hate is because they just kind of like they give everything to Rey so quickly. Meanwhile, Kylo Ren has fallen. Like Kylo Ren is nowhere to be found. He has fallen off. The only cool thing about Kylo Ren in this movie is that he gets his mask rebranded, and then after that, nothing. Finn also a nobody. Poe a nobody. You know, like I said, I don't know why. I just like this movie. Like I think part of it is because it's so like clean. Like I don't know, the quality of the movie feels good, even though that for Star Wars it did so much damage that you can never fix. I don't even know what else to say about that. I like it. It's not my favorite, but it ain't my least favorite. That's for sure. And then Solo, that I can firmly put at Padawan. Solo was not a bad. Well, Solo it was an alright movie. I won't say it was a great. but it's also like you can't not like it because they kind of set things up with like Darth Maul and that, and then proceeded to do nothing with it. But I don't think that Han Solo needed a movie about a story that like just a brand new like. I don't think that we needed to create a story for Han Solo for no reason at all, other than we just wanted to. That's just bad thing about Solo. Like there wasn't anything for us to grasp. Like they didn't really introduce anything to us other than Han Solo's girlfriend. But then even then, it's like they didn't do anything with it. So how as a fan, how are we supposed to feel? How are we supposed to grasp these characters and feel for them if we just dump them after one movie? Darth Maul, that whole part got saved really by Rebels and Clone Wars. And yeah, that's really all I have to say about that. I mean, Solo, I don't know. It's just like I watched Solo and that's about it. You don't really have a takeaway from Solo other than, yeah, I mean, the movie's over, end credits, and so that's kind of just my biggest thing with Solo. It's just, I don't know, they didn't do it, no fan justice there. And our last movie is the Clone Wars movie, also next to Solo. As far as when the Clone Wars movie got released versus the show, I don't know. This movie is just so unneeded. I don't like the plot, and also like it doesn't correlate with anything that happens ever again in the Clone Wars. Like I said, I don't know when it was released. I think if it's before, it makes sense. But then the Clone Wars TV show didn't build off of the movie, so it doesn't like. Yeah, I don't know how to explain it, but it's just I don't know. I just feel weird about it. I watched it when I was a kid. And it's just what can I say? I don't know. We're gonna go ahead and move on to Clone Wars. I think this is an obvious S tier. Clone Wars for me shaped my childhood. Every Friday morning, Saturday morning, and Sunday morning, I would watch like 6 episodes at a time. I loved it. I had all the action figures, all the Legos. I like Clone Wars. I think my age, like we didn't have any movies coming out when I was a kid, and we didn't really have any movies coming out, so I started becoming a teenager. So it's like my kid era was just purely Clone Wars, to the fact that maybe if there wasn't even movies, if I just had Clone Wars, I would still love Star Wars just the same amount as I do right now. Just because I haven't watched Resistance, but I think I watched like maybe part of the first episode. I don't like it. That's nothing to say anything bad about it. I just don't like it. But with that, I don't know why. I can't explain to you why Disney did that. And it is nobody else's fault other I will say it is Disney's fault completely. Boba Fett was such like a bad booty character in that movie, to the where he's half naked, helpless, can't get in. Then the scooter gang, it's like, for somebody who's supposed to be like one of the most feared bounty hunters of all time, how did we nerf him this bad? I can't explain how upsetting it is. And it's like, unless you've been a Star Wars fan and you know who Boba Fett is, and then watch him get nerfed like that, it's like you can't feel the way it's like people get really bent out of shape about this. And I think it's valid. I think that they're coming from a point of like passion for the character and like helplessness that you can only watch your character just get torn apart. And it's just, I don't know. Obi-Wan Kenobi show, we're going to go there next. I want to put that with like Master, to the point where it's not really the show itself, it's like the experience. I would have put it at like Padawan or Knight, but the Darth Vader scene where he like walks through the town and like cracks all the necks and is like dragging people, like from like a nerd point of view, like that's how Darth Vader in the comics is. Like I think that they really showed him really well. The worst part about this is just that they felt such a need to add in a main character that wasn't Obi-Wan, but they named the series Obi-Wan Kenobi. And it's like they're putting the point in of Obi-Wan, Reva, and Darth Vader. And so like Darth Vader and Obi-Wan had 25% each, and then Reva had like 50% of like screen, well not like screen time, but like story. And so I don't know, it's just weird that they would do. But yeah, I'm talking about experience. Darth Vader going through and being a beast up until like he wouldn't walk across fire in his fireproof suit to get Obi-Wan was kind of crazy. And then him losing to Obi-Wan again in the rocks was also upsetting. But I think that in the end that's how it was supposed to be. It wasn't. I don't think that he was supposed to win that fight. But I think with how cool and like menacing Darth Vader is, you just think that he should win every fight. And then when he loses to Obi-Wan, it's kind of like he's like the rest of us. Ahsoka is an S tier. I won't give. Oh my gosh, can we? It's not S tier, but I will give a council member. I think a big part of it plays into like the director and it being like the person who did Clone Wars, but also I think as far as starting a new story while using an old story, they do a really good job. For like the movies, like Force Awakens through Rise of Skywalker, they're not really creating their own story because they're not trying to build off of the Skywalker. They're trying to like build into it. It felt like, whereas Ahsoka, they're using that as previous knowledge, but you don't need to have watched all those movies to understand Ahsoka. Other than the World Between Worlds, that I don't know. That's kind of an odd thing where like they get into magic and stuff. But I think that's definitely the avenue that this show's going down, and I think that that's an avenue that needs to be explored with like the Night Sisters and Night Brothers and witches and Dathomir and all that. It's because that's not really a prominent thing in Star Wars because Force users they're not like wizards and they're not witches. They're Force sensitive. Like it's not magic. It's a connection, which is, it sounds like hard to say, but it makes sense. I promise you. But like Anakin, like getting Hayden Christensen back, you can't go wrong with that at all. Mando could have had a spot saved for him in S tier up until the third season. The filler episodes, like I want to have a show, obviously, but it's like if you get to the point where you just don't have a plot, the whole getting back Mandalore, don't get me wrong, like getting back Mandalore is very cool. But the one or two episodes where you're like really into like the Empire and that one guy, and he's like trying to find his place and stuff. And I don't know. It's unneeded, and especially when the show is about the Mandalorian, and they're adding all these people, and like Lizzo's in there. I gotta say, I don't understand. As like, I make YouTube videos, but it's like I have a thought. Like I'm going off of, I'm ranking these movies, and you know. Well, also here's this little sign that I got. I don't know. I just didn't like but first two seasons, amazing. Like, I don't know if anything, like any new show could come out, even like Marvel or DC, that would change a fandom like the first season of Mandalorian did. Like, it's an experience for sure. I don't really know what else to say. And then Andor, I'm gonna put at Master. Andor gets a lot of hate. I say hate, a lot of dislike, a lot of for like not being Star Wars, which I understand to the point where there's no Jedi, the Force isn't, and like that makes sense to the point where it's not Star Wars. But it's like when you can't ask for backstory, but only want specific characters. Now, could they have picked a more interesting character than Andor to give the series to and a whole backstory to? I think so. I think as far as it goes, like it's a good show. Like I love it. I love Andor. I can't wait for Tuesdays when the next season comes out or the next episode comes out. But I do think that they're not being any force sensitive and no Jedi, no, things that George Lucas had started Star Wars with. Kind of, it hurts it. Like it won't be Grandmaster, and I don't think it can be Council Member just because I don't know. It's missing key components that make the movies and shows what they are. But I love Andor as far. Acolyte, I got to go Padawan.